Hello, long time no see. A bit of a spontaneous FPL waffle video. I basically got a bit fed up with FPL, so I stopped doing the content. I'd still been managing my team, but sort of doing the content alongside of it, I was kind of a bit burnt out with FPL, and I just wanted to do it bit more casually for a bit. But I fancied doing a video, and it's a sort of thing where I could see myself coming back next season and doing a year of it. But I fancied, like I said, doing a video. I had a good free hit. I was going to put together a wildcard draft. I don't have my wildcard, but I was just interested to put one out there, just to see if it can help some people with their thoughts of transfers. And it's always quite fun just putting together a wildcard draft. So I thought I'd do a bit of a video off the cuff. Um, Here is how my free hit team went really quickly. So I got 124 points. I was very pleased. Um, I shot up in the world to 285k. Still an outside chance of top 100. If I can get top 200 this year, I'd be very happy. Pickford in goal did bits. The Arsenal defenders are just so reliable. Salah obviously was a bit of a letdown. Brereton Diaz's goal against United was a nice feeling. Eze did very well as expected. Mateta smashed it, who I was a bit lucky with because I was going to go for Cunha, Solanke and Darwin, and then Cunha got injured, and I ended up sort of doing a bit of a switch, putting in Mateta, who I did end up coming round to wanting, and he absolutely destroyed it. Solanke, solid 8 points. So yeah, very happy with my free hit. Um, Essentially, my team this week will be looking pretty solid on paper. I'm just going to bring in Dan Burn most likely for Sabani, and I'll have a very solid 11. So yeah, fairly happy moving forward with my team. The captain's armband's going to be on Palmer, I think, unless there's news that he's out for the first game or two. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, fairly happy with how I'm set up. I'm going to have a lot of doublers, I think, come game week 37 for a bench boost. So yeah, I think I've got a good chance of getting top 200 if I manage things well between now and the end of the season. A lot of you have probably clicked on this video because I've put wildcard draft or something like that in the title. So let's build one together really quickly. I think the midfield five really pick themselves. I think at the moment, with the way things are going, there's a standout five that you go to. And if you obviously don't have a wild card, these are players I'd strongly consider getting in if you don't already. So Palmer, no brainer, probably a captain this week for most of you. Foden is in the form of his life. I think he picks himself. Um, I think because Spurs have two doubles as well as Chelsea, you have to put in yourself a Heung-min Son. Newcastle have a double in 37 and they're home to Sheffield this week, and we know how bad they are. So I think Anthony Gordon, his home record is literally ridiculous. And so I think Gordon is number four. And then out of nowhere, Bruno Fernandes is firing on all cylinders. He's home to Burnley this week, which is a plum fixture. He's got a double in 37. I don't think they have awful fixtures around that. So I think that five for me is just really obvious. The strikers, I think, are also pretty obvious. So Isak is in the form of his life at the moment. Again, home to Sheffield. He's got a double in 37. Isak's a bit of a no-brainer. Wilson might take a few minutes off him, but I'm not expecting too many since he's been back from a long injury and like Isak's playing so well. Nicholas Jackson, a bit of a Darwin Núñez, but he is getting some returns here and there. He's getting a lot of chances, again, with two doubles. He's got through a suspension problem. I think he is a bit of a no-brainer to take a punt on. And then assuming Pep doesn't rule out Haaland today for a long period of time, you could pop Haaland on your bench this week if he's out. But I think you're going to have Haaland for the doubles. If he's back, you're going to want Haaland, aren't you? So I think the midfield and attackers pick themselves. The goalies, I think, fairly pick themselves, in my opinion. I don't think there's loads of doubling keepers who I'm 100% certain are going to play every game. Edison should do, unless the title's wrapped up early. But assuming Arsenal push them to finish, I think having a Man City defender in Edison, all of their defenders get rotated. There's a chance Ortega comes in, like I say, but if they're still pushing for the title, I think he's pretty locked. And I think Onana, to be honest, is the other locked one. No competition. Dubravka, Pope's progressing well, so he's not guaranteed. The Brighton goalies, and not that you'd want them anyway, rotate all the time. Vicario, I think you could definitely consider. And in fact, as I'm doing this draft, let's, for the sake of it, put in Vicario, because then I might be able to get us triple Spurs. I think another Spurs player I'd want for the Spurs, if we're looking into defence now, Pedro Porro is the most attacking sort of defender for Spurs. So Doggie's out for the season. I think Porro's the one you'd want to take a chance with. It looks like we're going to need some cheaper defenders, so let's put in someone like Dan Burn, pretty nailed, pretty cheap, will do the job. And he's obviously got the double Sheffield this week, bit of no-brainer. United, if we can afford Dallo, he might be the play. Most attacking threat. Again, we've got doubles coming up, etc. I mean, Chelsea's an interesting one because defensively, I don't think they're great. My only concern with Petrovic is that there's a chance Sanchez takes minutes off him, although I think it's unlikely. But if you're going to go Chelsea defender, I mean, Gusto would have been the one, but he might be injured. If Gusto isn't injured, I think it's him. Otherwise, I quite like the idea of a Disassi. So we're going to put him in there. And then we got 4.7 left. Who would we go for that price? I think we're tripled up on Newcastle. Brighton, putting a Van Hecker just to get some Brighton coverage. Why not? And leave you with some money in the bank in case you want to do some playing around. So, yeah, it's a bit of a random draft. Look, if you wanted to, this could be the play. Here we go. Anana, because let's be honest, City are probably more likely to keep clean sheets. That's probably, for at least the cost I have in my bank, a wildcard draft, but you can put in Anana for Edison, say, if you don't have enough money. I think it looks very solid. And I think if you don't have a wildcard, like I said, that front eight, I think you want to be looking at those players if you haven't got them already. And defensively, I think a Newcastle defender sounds good this week. I think if you're going to go Spurs, Porro is probably the one. Outside of that, there's the other options I'm considering. Dallo for United, home to Burnley this week. Might not be a bad place to start. But yeah, I hope that's helpful. I hope that's given some food for thought. I hope you have a good rest of the seasons. Just a reminder, like I think I've covered them already, but the doublers that you want to be looking at are Brighton, Chelsea, United, City, Newcastle, and Spurs. So they're the teams to look at, but Brighton a bit on the beach at the moment, so I wouldn't really go near them unless someone like João Pedro makes your team work. I could still see him scoring. He played well yesterday against City, so yeah, some food for thought, but hopefully some of those other doubling teams are probably more obvious. I hope you have a good game week. I hope you can enjoy FPL more than get frustrated by it. And for now, yeah, I might do another one between now and the end of the season. This might be the only one I bother doing until between now and the end of the season. And with the potentially the idea to come in fresh next season and go again with some content. But yeah, hope you found this one helpful. And yeah, have a good game week. Bye for now.